Hey everybody, welcome back to Pristine Podcast. My name is Leo, and in this video we're going to talk about why your small business needs a podcast. Since you're with me now still, you probably think that having a podcast is a splendid idea. That's awesome. Let's talk about how it's going to help your business grow though, how it's going to make the impact. It's going to help marketing in general, but specifically it's going to help with brand positioning, brand awareness, and credibility. These are the three individual things underneath the marketing bubble that's going to help you with. In the beginning, it's not going to do nothing. There's not going to be anyone listening to you. To help your podcast grow to the point that it does something, you need to do three main things that are important. The first thing is that you should produce content who is relevant to your target audience. You should be within your niche. Since you have a business, you're probably sure what your target audience looks like. If not, then think about who would like to listen to me talk about what I'm trying to talk about, talking about my niche. The second thing you need to figure out is what the average length of your podcast episodes will be. This is very important because your target audience has their daily lives and every target audience is different. So if your target audience, if the people that listen to you commute every day and it takes them 45 minutes on average to go to work, that's an indicator that you should make 45-minute long episodes so that by the time that they hop on a car, they start listening to it, when they go to work, it's finished. If it's longer than that, they're not going to be able to finish it. It's going to hurt your stats. If your target audience is pregnant parents that just had a baby, they're probably going to be at home all day, so they're going to have all the time in the world to basically listen to you talk about what you want to talk about. And that is why average length really matters, right? The third thing that you can do to help your podcast grow quickly is by helping it get seen, get visited. One of the things you can do is in your website, if you have one, you can put your website in the menu. So there will be like homepage, about page, podcast, so people will be like, oh, I didn't know you had a podcast. So they're going to click it, they're going to listen to it. If they like it, they're going to become fans. Awesome. So all these three things you can do, and then to be sure that they're having results, please pay attention to the data, not your feelings. You may feel like making a podcast about the latest football game that you saw. You're gonna see that the data is gonna dip. That's what you felt, but it's not working. So what do? You go back to talking about things that are relevant to your audience. So that's what you gotta see to be sure that what's working, what's not, basically to growing quickly in the direction that you need to go to. Now, once you get there to the beautiful place, at the end of the rainbow where the pot of gold is, you're there now, you have all these fans. What specifically do we do now to make use of this audience? Let's talk about a few things we can do over here. Okay, so one of the first things that you can do, guys, is convert listeners to leads for your business. And one of the most efficient ways to do this is to have a downloadable freebie that is specifically correlated to one of your best performing podcast episodes. And once people listen to it, they'll want to download it. And if they want to download it, they'll have to give you their name and email address. And you can send them emails to educate them about your offers, products, and services, right? And if you do this enough, they'll get warm. It's a term that it's used in marketing, warm leads, cold leads. You'll warm them up, and then they'll be more likely to buy from you. One of the best examples in this is Amy Porterfield. This is one of her old episodes, number 75. Here's the episode. And then if you scroll down, you'll see a specific downloadable freebie over here. And if you want to download it, a form will pop up and you'll have to give her your name and email address. Sure, you could lie about it, you could send the wrong email address, but most people just give you their actual address and then they say, yes, please, your data goes to her email service provider and you get your freebie as a return. The second thing you can do is create these mini advertisements, which you can place in each of your podcast episodes to sponsor your own podcast. When you think of sponsors, you probably think of a third-party company that wants you to talk about them, tell people about them, and they will give you money as a result. But since you have your own business, you could basically advertise your own products or services. A good example of this is our channel. Now, even though I do videos and you're going to do podcasts, you can just do the same thing. It's just going to be audio, no video. But, I do this at every single episode so far. Have a listen. If you want to edit your podcast faster and get more of your time back, then consider outsourcing podcast editing and post-production to me and my team. To learn more, check out the link in the description. So yeah, that's something that, a call to action basically, that I tell people to inform them about what we do. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe they don't know about it. So I say that in every single episode, since most people will probably discover us at these early stages, and we want to check out what we do. The third thing that you can do is generate affiliate revenue. And I probably don't have to explain to you guys what affiliate revenue is or means. I just want to say that whatever you end up advertising in your podcast, it should be in the same realm as what your business is. It shouldn't be completely unrelated, but it shouldn't also be your competitors' stuff so that you hurt your sales as a result. And then once you do find what products you'd like or services you'd like to advertise, see if they have an affiliate program. If they don't, you can't do this. If they do, then you have to sign up. The more popular the tool is, the more difficult it will be to sign up in their affiliate program because you have to meet a few requirements. But once you do, you'll see the back end just like this. Most of these tools use the same few affiliate management systems. This one is called iDev Affiliate, and all the tools that use this one will have a similar look in the back end. What you can see here is the total sum that you have in your disposition. You will see also that most of them have a minimum withdrawal limit. So if you have less than $200, for example, you can't withdraw your money. You have to go above the threshold to be able to get it. And then you'll see that the link here, at the end of the link, you have a unique ID, which is what the tool uses to recognize who brought the person to sign up for their stuff. And then at the end here you'll see the data, but these are not very accurate, so I wouldn't rely much on these. And that's pretty much it. And finally, the fourth tip that I have for you guys is to set up some sort of sponsorship or collaboration. And by sponsorship, I don't mean advertising somebody else's product or services. As we talked about it earlier, you can sponsor your own stuff. But what I mean is that there's lots of different businesses out there. And it may turn out that one of these businesses is targeting to the same target audience as you are. Say you're a copywriter, and then there's a friend of yours or somebody else that you don't know that's a designer. Now, just because you're both targeting the same target audience, in this case, just to make an example, a female business owner, mom with young children, just because that person designed something for them, doesn't mean that they stole work from you because you didn't do it. You do copywriting, so you're both, doing work for the same target audience, but you're not overlapping with each other, you're not competing. The benefit of this is that you can combine forces with lots of different businesses that target the same target audience, and you can create a program or teach them something. And then all of the audiences of these people are gonna see you as well, so you can make use of that large audience. As an example, you could do a webinar or a virtual summit. A webinar would be selling something like a product or service, and the virtual summit is to teach people stuff with the benefit of getting access to the contacts of all these other people, so that you can increase the reach. And finally, the last thing that I want to talk to you guys about, which is super, super important, and it's maybe the most important thing, is to be able to quantify the impact that your podcast has in your business. So say, to make things simple, say you have a business, you sell one product, and you make 50 sales per day. Now you have your own podcast. It's been 2 months since you opened it, since you created it. And your sales have gone up to 100 per day. Now you may think, naturally, that, it's because I have the podcast now, so maybe 50 more sales are coming because of the podcast. But maybe it was a natural growth. You did some speech somewhere, you got the audience, and it's natural. Even if you didn't have the podcast, it would still be 100 per day. So maybe the podcast is doing nothing. So all that effort that you put into it, you put in the script, the record, the edit, the show notes, all that effort, and you don't know whether it's working or not. So the way that we can figure out whether it's working or not, at least to some extent, is to create trackable links. So we talked about a few strategies over here. So say converting listeners to leads for a business. So the way this works, as we talked about, is that people come from the podcast listening app to your website. and then they fill in the form, they press download, they get a freebie, you get their email, but you still don't know where they came from. Same goes for the second one. You could have said in one of your episodes, come to my website and buy my stuff. They could have come from organic traffic, you still don't know where they came from. Same with the third one, affiliate revenue. You told people in your podcast that sign up for X tool, but you've also mentioned in your website, so they could have seen it in the website, not in the podcast, right? Same goes with sponsorships. You grow your audience, you still don't know where people are coming from. So all these tools, even though you've done active work to increase the reach, and your sales would have possibly gone up because of all this effort, you still can't tell with accuracy as to what's happening. So say that episode 13 in your website has the URL pristinepodcast.com/13, okay? If you put this in all these things, they could have come from which one of them. You wouldn't tell which one did they come from because they're clicking the same link. So what we need to do is set up UTM parameters to be able to tell where did they come from. Now you can set up UTM parameters yourself, but one of the free tools that helps you to do that is Campaign URL Builder, and you can paste your URL over here, and then you can say source YouTube, and then medium description, okay? And then it will give you a URL which is correct. You can set it up yourself again, just see what the pattern is, set it up yourself, perfectly fine. And then go to analytics, because now that we've created the parameters and we know where they come from, we still can't tell which one bought, So you may see that 100 people have come from YouTube, but how many of them have bought? Because visit don't mean anything, right? You have to track the goal. Which is your goal? You may have visits, sure. That might be your goal. You can see that 100 people came, you reached your goal. But if you have sales, if you want to see how many people bought, you need to set up what are called events in Google Analytics. So you need to set them up. They've made an update now, so it's a bit different. But yeah, so you need they now call them conversions. So you go to conversions, you set up a new conversion event that is basically looking for which people came from YouTube description and bought. This is called now a conversion, right? So you set it up, and then Google Analytics is going to keep tracking which people came from description and bought. And you can see them in engagement events, right? You can see them. You can see all of them down here. How many people came from which, how many people bought, how many people did whatever. Now you'll notice that after you add the UTM parameters, your URLs will look more longer and uglier. As you can see, it used to be just /13, now it has all this crap. So how do we make them pretty? If you want, you can have a forwarding URL, right? So you can set this up, for example, in WordPress, it's a plugin called Pretty Links. And you can create a new one. So say the target URL is /13, and then what you want to do is just /SSQB, why not? And then something else that you need to keep in mind is to go to say parameter forwarding, because it doesn't automatically pass the parameters. So if you say if you say that the campaign source is YouTube and the campaign medium is description, it won't forward that when they land in your actual page, so you won't know where they came from. So be sure to tick that box. And then, my friends, is how you can set up these trackable links so that you can measure how much of an impact your podcast has to your business. If it's doing great, then you just increase your effort to have even more of an impact. If it's not working, you can change things, because obviously what you're doing isn't working, or increase your effort or quit at all. But it's important for you to measure where your efforts are going and how they're being translated into actual results. As Google says, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it, or you can't manage it, or it doesn't exist. So, it's pretty important. As always, guys, if you've enjoyed these tips, don't forget to press the thumbs up and subscribe button to support this channel. I'll see you again in the next video.